pass to the second keynote, which is my pleasure to present Dr. Pedro Cantista. He is a medical doctor specialized in physical and rehabilitation medicine, competencies in medical hydrology and pain medicine, consultant at the Centro Hospitalar Universitário do Porto, professor at the University of Oporto, President of the International Society of Medical Hydrology and of the Portuguese Society of Medical Hydrology and of the Portuguese Society, I'm repeating, of the Medical Hydrology, sorry. So the keynote will be entitled Thermal Products, Mineral Water, Pelloids and Gases.
Thank you very much for your introducing words, Dr. Soraya Falcão. Before I start my presentation, I would like to salute every one of you, dear participants, and also to thank the kind invitation to be present here to the Mountain Research Center of the Bragança Polytech Institute, especially to Professor Maria José Alves and Dr. Lilian Barros. Thank you very much for your assistance during the preparation of this conference. And I would like to address my best regards to Professor Isabel Ferreira, Secretary of State of our government for the interior cohesion of our country, of Portugal, and also to Professor Orlando Rodrigues, President of the Bragança Polytech Institute. And also to thank the excellent keynote lecture of Professor Maria Graça Campos. I learned a lot about bees and bee products, and I am very interested, I must say, because I dedicate also some of my research to osteoporosis, and I will contact you about the mechanisms of these products in osteoporosis. So this is a challenge. I stay here. So let me share with you my screen now. I hope that I can enter this. So let me see. Let me see if I can now. Just a moment. What happens now with this? Not here. Are you, I think it's now okay. Is it okay?
Yes.
Yes, okay. So let's start. So I was asked to speak about this topic, thermal products. And as you may imagine, I only can make a very synthetic approach to this subject due to the short time we have. Nevertheless, I hope this presentation may be useful for you and give some clues to develop your study and motivate your interest and knowledge about thermalism. Well, what are thermal products? By thermal products, I mean the substances used for treatments within thermal medicine. And these include especially mineral waters, pelloids, and thermal gases. And I must say that these products, special mineral waters and pelloids, are used since thousands of years in almost all human civilizations. Of course, initially, this use was purely empiric practice, but nowadays it has a scientific basis and may be included in what we call evidence-based medicines. This means the evidence by the perform of randomized controlled trials, which is considered the level 1A of evidence in EBM. Well, despite the fact that we have already quite a lot of scientific knowledge, research is, of course, much needed on this field. The first idea and the first thought that I would like to share with you is about the need to have an international glossary in this field. In fact, the first step to develop cooperation and exchange of knowledge on scientific research is to speak the same language. This means that we should respect an international glossary. And of course, why that? Because nowadays, words are not only to speak, but they serve as keys and codes to have access to automatic information, informatics, and to spread it into the scientific knowledge to obtain an international, a global cooperation. So we need to use the same terms corresponding to the same concepts and definitions if we want to reach and spread the right information. I give you an example. Usually you talk about thermal water, but in fact, the consensualized term nowadays is no more thermal. Instead, we use mineral water or natural mineral water. So temperature is no more the defining criteria for define this kind of natural product. In fact, when we talked before about thermal, we referred about water that came in a source with a temperature above the body's temperature, which means above 36, 37 grades Celsius. Then it changed for the concept, and we refer to a water that emerged in a temperature above the ambient average. For instance, 26, 27, if the local average during the year would be, for instance, 21 or 22. So nowadays, the criteria to define a natural mineral water is the therapeutic effect. So as you see, when I talk about thermal water, if I publish about thermal water, I can miss the target if I don't use as keyword or mesh word natural mineral water. Nevertheless, this need, there isn't yet an universal consensus, since low mineralized water, for instance, is not considered mineral water in many countries. If you go to, for instance, for East Europe, they don't consider a low mineralized water like our Água de Luz in Portugal, like Luz water, because it has a low mineral content. But in fact, if we take as criteria for the definition the therapeutic effect, the fact is that we have already some evidence of the pharmacologic effects, let's say, that with this low mineralized water. So our International Society of Medical Hydrology, which, by the way, this year accomplished 100 years, it was founded in 1921, adopt as glossary these two books. The main one is on your right side of the screen, was written by Professor Maria de los Angeles Ceballos Herranz from Universidad Complutense de Madrid, and it puts the equivalent terms in several languages. It is very complete, and I think that is a wonderful tool for those who want to publish and study on this field. We have a second glossary, but only in German and English by Christoph Kirchner. Anyway, I think that they are very useful for you to, for those who are interested in communicating in these fields. The other publication of reference, and which is now the adopt criteria for definition and concepts, is that one published in 2010 and adopted in that precise year at the Congress in Paris as the definitions validated by the International Society. So this is a paper in which I have also the honor to participate by Gutenbrunner, Bender, Karagul, and myself. The other product that we're going to approach here is Pelowitz. Now, by Pelowitz, Pelowitz is the umbrella designation for many natural products, and they were classified and systematized since 1949 in our International Society conference in Dax, France, near Bordeaux. And here you have the publication that currently is the reference for this international consensus, published by Professor Celso Gomes from the Aveiro University and more 9 collaborators trying to have let's say, share the consensus especially in Europe. So you have here the reference of the publication, and I can send to you, it's a free access publication on the web. But as you see, this is the classification, the table of the classification in Dax in France. It is in French, because at that time, French was also a very used scientific language. Nowadays, we don't use French. Unfortunately, in my point of view, we only use English. 200 years ago, we used Latin, so we need that equivalence. That's why we need an international glossary to have the same definitions in different language corresponding to the same concept. And that's why we need that correspondence in English. And in some fields, I must say that English is not enough. English is a very easy language with a very simple grammatics, but sometimes, you know, the vocabulary, the terms miss, and we need to go another way to Greek or Latin to incorporate these Latin and Greek terms in English and have the correspondent equivalents. So here you have the denomination, you have the origin, you have the chemical nature, you have the temperature, you have the conditions of maturations, and you see boue in French, fungi, Italian, muds in English, schlam, German, and then all the designations, and sometimes you see mud, peat, fungi, and in fact, all these designations correspond to different kinds of Pelowitz. So again, if you are interested in developing the research in these very interesting natural products with the pharmacologic effects and therapeutic effects, very interesting, you need to choose the correct words to define what you are talking about. So mainly and very synthetically, I would say that these Pelowitz effects may be anti-inflammatory, quite powerful, I must say. There are trials that compare, for instance, the anti-inflammatory power of some Pelowitz in Italy, for instance, with indomethacin and also with the diclofenac, and they are equivalent in power. This is really amazing. I myself, I must confess, I was amazed when I saw that work, especially from Professor Simona Bellomedi. Okay, you have also other effects, namely on your skin, keratolytic, of course, according to the kind of composition of the specific agent. Speaking about natural gases, the main are these three: CO2, sulfur gas, H2S, and radon. Of course, when we talk of radon, we're talking about very small amounts of radon, where we exclude, of course, products that have high levels of radioactivity. So these are some of the CO2 effects. They are quite important, for instance, on acting on the peripheral vascular resistance, mainly on hypertensive conditions. For instance, also on arrhythmias. So you have the capacity of influence heart rate variability. Also in skin and localized adiposities, And as a narcosis therapy could be an important method for treatment of some kinds of neurosis and psychosomatic conditions. Concerning sulfur gas, I would say that it can mediate regulation of apoptosis, signaling ameliorates adverse cardiac remodeling and diabetic cardiomyopathy. It gives some myocardial protection against ischemia and reperfusion injury. It also seems to have therapeutic benefits on Alzheimer's disease, and very recently some studies pointed H2S as a potential defense against COVID-19. Of course, this research is in the beginning, but there are some interesting findings about this. Concerning radon therapy, well, I would say that radon has mostly an anti-inflammatory effect, and there are several methods of administrating radon in water baths. This is very old, since, for instance, 1996 in Czech Republic or in Bad Gastein in Austria. Also by drinking therapy, which you call hydropenia, for instance, in Bad Brambach in Germany, inhalation in Poland, in the United States, in Austria also. And in the United States, in Europe, there are several radon spas specialized on radon therapy with high radon atmosphere, and also in health mines established in Bastion and Montana. I'm not at all an expert on radon therapy, but our colleague Albert Falkenbach published a lot about this and has interesting findings about this kind of therapy. Now, I will finish by, I think, the main product that we use in Europe regarding spa therapy products, which are mineral waters. And the current definition of mineral waters is natural waters, of course, of deep circulation. This is very important. It's not lakes, it's not rivers. We're calling about water that infiltrates the deep, as a long, long way in subterranean geologic formations. And during that long circulation, it happens that it gains some soluble contents, some mineral contents, also some biological contents. So the physical and chemical characteristics allows therapeutics properties to be attributed to them. Mineral waters has a very stable composition. So if you go to a source, each mineral water has our own identity, and it practically don't change along all the year. So we're talking about a period of circulation underground, like, for instance, 9th centuries, 10th centuries. So if you drink, for instance, Água das Pedras from our region, you are drinking a water that came from the rain almost 1,000 years ago. So this is very important. That's why that long way gives the possibility of getting the stability. I must say that on the designation of mineral waters, we can also include the gaseous waters, even if the gas content could be reinforced with the gas from the source itself. It is the only change that is allowed to do in a mineral water. Why mineral waters acts? Because they have several therapeutic factors, mechanisms. Now, physical mechanisms, it is different to take a bath on, for instance, on a tube with a water of 34 degrees or 38. It is different according to the chemical composition. And I must say that some biological contents are also useful to have some therapeutic properties. some vestiges of, for instance, RNA can give some properties to the water and give also the identity. Well, this is not yet still studied, but is a very important research line, for instance, here in Portugal. And of course, you know that you cannot deny the very important psychological effects, and the psychological effects indirectly influence your, let's say, interaction with the waters by, for instance, immunomodulation. I deeply believe on this. Okay, so you have a multitude of mineral waters. You have thousands of mineral waters in our nation, so you need to know them better, to systemize, to classify it. And usually we use 5 criteria for classified water, to classify water: physical and biological and chemical. Now, the temperature, the osmotic pressure, radioactivity, mineralization, and chemical composition. By the way, I let you hear a curiosity. One of the oldest treatises of classification of mineral waters from a very well-known doctor from the 18th century, Dr. Mirandela, because he was from our region, from the city of Mirandela, Francisco da Fonseca Henriques. He was a doctor on the court of our King João V, John V. And this was published in 1726. It was very complete, and it is still very, let's say, very, very actual here, very, very current. This was considered the first compendium book of classification of systemization of the Portuguese mineral waters. Here you have. Recently, it was republished on a facsimile edition. I will talk only about the criteria of mineralization and chemical composition because we don't have time to approach more topics. I just say that there is not an uniform accept criteria for these thresholds on mineralization. It varies from school to school, even in Portugal, from the school of Coimbra to Lisbon, and of course from country to country. Nevertheless, I think that nowadays the international society is reaching an international consensus about this, and I hope that at least in the next 2 or 3 years, we will have it definitely published. Now, I give you some examples here. I don't have time to enter into details, but anyway, you can see that we have waters weakly mineralized, low mineralized, strongly mineralized, and here you have the difference of the contents. For instance, from very weakly mineralized, like again Luso or Vitalis in Portugal, you have less than 50 milligrams per liter, and then if you go, for instance, to a high mineralized, you can have 2 grams, for instance, 2,000 milligrams, 2 grams from liter. Regarding the chemical composition, this gives you the label, the designation to the mineral water: bicarbonated, sulfated, chlorinated, sulfurous, sodium caustic, etc. So on. So if here you have the thresholds, the different thresholds, you consider to have the label of bicarbonate, sulfated, sodium, so on. And then you have also a very important point. When you talk about sulfur waters, you can have less than 500 milligrams, and but with this title of sulfur, you consider sulfurous water. So to finish, and in conclusion of my lecture, if we go to get a treatment or to have health benefits more than to treat a disease, I can go to a thermal station to promote my health. What do we have as a comprehensive therapy? Of course, we're talking about thermal medicine, and World Health Organization recognize this kind of practice, this type of practice, and calls it health resort medicine. So we're talking about procedures of diagnostic and treatment, not only treatment, also diagnostic. And we do not only treat, but we have health promotion. So we have health promotion by having better prevention, a better therapy, and a better rehabilitation. This is what you are doing in the field. Then the core elements of this complex therapy, thermal medicine, is the use of natural mineral waters, gases, and phenolates. That's why we are here on a natural products conference, because we use, in fact, natural products. But we also use tap water. Now we're talking about complementary techniques, for instance, that we call hydrotherapy. When we use mineral waters, we call it cranotherapy. Crano comes from the Greek kranos, which means fountain, source. So we make the difference between cranotherapy, we use natural mineral water, and hydrotherapy, which use common water, tap water, plain water. So in spa therapy, in thermal, we can use, for instance, on collective practice, such as hydrokinesiotherapy, exercise on swimming pools, for instance. This is not cranotherapy, but could be thermal medicine by complementary techniques such as kinesiotherapy on pool, hydrokinesiotherapy, rehabilitation on pool. Okay, we use also climatic factors. This is very important. This is a natural variable, okay? So you can have similar waters, but in different climatic ambience, and you have different results. We have other therapeutic factors, namely sociologic, psychological. I gave a lot of importance to the interactive social interaction in therapy, and this is could be an excellent tool to improve our health. And of course, the contextual environmental factors. Now, we have also the methods or the modalities, baths, showers, drinking cures, inhalation, other techniques of respiratory treatments, immersion without or only to body parts, and the agents, the substance, the factors, CO2, sulfur gas, brine, carbonated, sulfated, etc. Then we can do underwater exercise, we can perform thermotherapy, we can perform hydrogalvanic baths. So physical medicine is also very important as a tool for this complex therapy. So as you see, to design a study on the effects on thermal therapy is not easy, because we have a lot of variables, and we need to be very careful to prevent bias and confounding factors. So the methodology to do research on medical hydrology, on thermal medicine, is very complex. Nevertheless, nowadays, I must tell you that in a recent bibliographic systematic review, I found thousands of studies of very good quality and more than 300 randomized control trials. And although it's very difficult to design blind controls, I say that I find some of them, and even double-blind studies are possible, but very difficult. So I thank you very much for your attention, and I am at your disposition to answer your questions if I can. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much for this excellent keynote, very clarifying. I learned a lot of thermal products. So now we pass to the questions. We have two questions. One from, it's written, is from Dr. Marcio Carocho. He says, thank you very much for the presentation. It was very broad and complete. I'm just curious about what you said about Água das Pedras. How could it be that the water that we drink rained over 1,000 years ago?
Thank you very much. Dr. Márcio Carocho. It's a very interesting question. In fact, we in thermal medicine, we hydrologists, doctors, we work a lot with the geologs. Professor Graça, hydrogeologists are our pharmaceutics in terms of not only the pharmaceutics, we count with you, but we need the scientists from geology to help us and to understand. And so it's very simple. Rain falls, it has the capability of penetrate into the soil, into the ground, and as a long, long way, going deeply on the rocks, having this way, and by some geologic occurrences, for instance, a geologic fracture, they are able to ascend and to come and to emerge naturally. Of course, we can do this artificially, and if we know that we have an aquifer, a pool of mineral water on the deep, we can also detect and then make a hole, make a perforation, and with that forage, we can reach the water. This must be very, very wise, very, very scientifically controlled and rigorous. Otherwise, we can have a natural disaster. And unfortunately, there are several of these disasters that kill that treasure, that preciosity of natural mineral water by bad practice on this kind of procedure. So again, the great majority of mineral waters have a long way during a long period of time, and this time allow again to have the water enriched with mineral salts and other contents such as biological, to have the product that, for instance, with Água das Pedras we got. And this is very interesting, of course, and nature is a precious gift, so we need to respect them. And I must confess my concern about the way sometimes we deal with water, mainly.
Okay,
and of course, climatic changes that are on the table now. These are due to the alterations, to the change of the water cycle. That's what it is. We have no more water. We don't lose water. We have the same amount of water in our planet for millions of years. Like Lavoisier law says, we don't lose water. We don't create water. Simply, the cycle has changed. And this is the problem we have, because it's changed quickly without the possibility to adapt ourselves. And our health is mainly found, like our life, our biological life, but also our economic life is based on water. Point. So pay attention for how you deal with water. So you need a lot of knowledge more, especially in medicine. Just a final thought. Doctors pass 6 years on medical schools in university, then 5-6 years on specialized, and they don't talk about water. There is only one chair of medical hydrology in Portugal, which is mine. So it's incredible. It's incredible because water is, we are water. We are water. We are generated in water. All the biological processes we have are on the water environment, and absorption, circulation, body functions are on water. And water is the mean to get better pharmacological effects and supplies. So this is a very important thought. And those in our Polytech Center are dedicated to natural products should in fact have this very important thought in mind. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Just one more question, very brief, from Professor Maria Graça Campos. She wants to post a question, and I'm going to pass her the word.
Thank you.
We are not listening, Professor Graça Campos, please. Okay.
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 Probably a challenger. I have a dream. I work with lots of oncologic patients. And one of my dreams is called for the cancers not so advanced to do the treatments in these thermal facilities. First, for the concept, and also because we can have a controlled ambience. So we could have a proper diet in an ambience that was friendly. And of course, we can have all these information that you have also. In all this research that you have already done, did you cross with something that we could in fact use this to put a project?
Oh, this is really the $1 million question. Really. Well, I'll try to be very short. It's not easy to be very short, but I'll try to put the problem. First, in fact, thermal therapy is a complex therapy. So we deal with nutrition, with exercise, and things that improve your health. Now, you can fight a disease by two ways. You can attack the pathogenic mechanisms. And if you don't know them, for instance, like COVID, what you do, you can enhance your body defense, your what I call salutogens, health gens.
Sorry, okay? My question was mixed. So
yes,
we have
of course.
chemotherapy, but
I think Professor Graça, everything in medicine, in my opinion, is mixed. Even when you give an antibiotic drug, you have the effect on the antibiotic on the microorganisms, but you have also the immunomodulation of of course. So everything is mixed. Exactly. Concerning cancer, we have, regarding mineral water, some mineral water show in lab some potential, some mitogenic potential. So we were much afraid of having cancers especially on the first period before remissions. We were afraid.
Okay, I see.
But then, we thought about the complex therapy, and now we enter the specific research for cancer. So nowadays, for instance, in France, there is a research line concerning several cancers. And we started by the rehabilitation of cancer disease. And we have now already some clues, let's say some signs that we have positive effects. And again, let's separate things. The pharmacy mineral water, and then the comprehensive therapy. You need to study both. You need to study the specific action of that specific composition for the specific cancer, and the immunomodulation that we know that some mineral waters can give to specify some response of antibody response, and then the comprehensive therapy. So I would say that I'm convinced that the next 10 years will bring interesting data on that research.
Perfect. Thank you.
I think.